Why are they willingly ignorant? The Bible says it is because they are walking after their own lusts. Now, more evidence of this is found in Psalm 14. You don't have to turn there. But in Psalm 14:1, the Bible reads, "The fool hath said in his heart, there is no God." And often we stop quoting there. We don't quote the whole verse. You've heard that statement your whole life. Let's read the whole verse. "The fool hath said in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good." That's the whole verse. So what's the verse actually saying here? He said that there's no God because he's corrupt and because he has done abominable works. So he doesn't want to believe that there's a God. The same thing is found in Psalm 53 verse 1. "The fool hath said in his heart, there is no God. Corrupt are they, and have done abominable iniquity. There is none that doeth good." That's the reason, according to 2 Peter 3, according to Psalm 14, according to Psalm 53. Listen to this. You say, well, what makes you think that Richard Dawkins has done abominable iniquity? Well, first of all, we already know that he hates God. I don't think anybody would doubt that. I don't think anyone would argue with that. Listen to this story. This is from the Huffington Post. Now, who here thinks that the Huffington Post is a radical conservative news outlet? No, this is a godless, God-hating outlet. And even they're calling out Richard Dawkins' wickedness. Okay? This is from the Huffington Post just a few years ago. "Richard Dawkins' pedophilia remarks provoke outrage." That's the headline. Canterbury, England. Richard Dawkins, and I'm just going to read the article verbatim from Huffington Post, except I'm going to have to censor some of it for the sake of little ears. "Richard Dawkins, one of the world's best known and outspoken atheists, has provoked outrage among child protection agencies and experts after suggesting that recent child abuse scandals have been overblown. In an interview in the Times Magazine on Saturday, September 7th, Dawkins, age 72, said that he was unable to condemn what he called mild pedophilia that he experienced at an English school when he was a child in the 1950s. So where are this guy's beliefs coming from? He's molested as a kid, and he says, well, I can't condemn it. I can't condemn the fact that my teacher that was a dude molested me. No big deal. It's just mild pedophilia. What a bunch of filth. This is the most renowned atheist out there. This is the kind of stuff he's saying. Even the Huffington Post article itself starts out, "Richard Dawkins, one of the world's best known and outspoken atheists." Those are the first words of the article. If not the most well-known and outspoken. Referring to his early days at a boarding school in Salisbury, he recalled how one of the teachers, and he explains what the guy did to him, and it's not mild at all. And I'm not even going to read it because of the fact that I don't want to pervert your mind. But the stuff that he did was not mild. Anybody who thinks it's mild is a filthy pervert themselves. Yes, that's you, Richard Dawkins. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. He said other children in his school peer group had been molested by the same teacher. But he concluded, I don't think he did any of us lasting harm. Wow. Well, you know, I've noticed something about you that you hate God. I wonder if that has to do with the fact that you were molested. Oh, no, it didn't harm me at all. No, it turned you into a God-hating atheist. Yeah. Now, you'll often find that people, when they get molested, they lash out against God and hate God and become a hater of God, unfortunately. Now, not everyone. Of course, you know, there's redemption there. And a lot of people who've been molested were able to, you know, get over that and live normal lives and live godly lives. But unfortunately, there's a tendency for those who get molested to be bitter against God. And they shouldn't, but that's just a phenomenon. And he says in this quote, "I'm very conscious that you can't condemn people of an earlier era by the standards of ours. Just as we don't look back at the 18th and 19th centuries and condemn people for racism in the same way as we would condemn a modern person for racism, I look back a few decades to my childhood and see things like caning, like mild pedophilia, and I can't find it in me to condemn it by the same standards as I would or anyone would today," he said. He said the most notorious cases of pedophilia involve rape and even murder, and shouldn't be bracketed in with what he called just a mild, you know, whatever. You know, I mean, unless they kill you, I mean, unless they just violently abuse you. I mean, come on. It's just a little mild pedophilia. I mean, look, anyone who says that, I believe, is a pedophile themselves. Yeah. Because no normal person would justify pedophilia like that. That's no big deal. I submit to you that Richard Dawkins is presumably a pedophile if he's going to say that it's fine. Why else would he be saying it's fine? Now, let's see what Richard Dawkins considers child abuse. Here's a quote from his book, The God Delusion. Faith can be very dangerous, and deliberately to implant it into a vulnerable mind. Faith can be very dangerous, and deliberately to implant it into the vulnerable mind. I can't even read this junk. Into the vulnerable mind of an innocent child is a grievous wrong. So he says that putting faith into the mind of an innocent child, that is a grievous wrong. But just molesting and raping it mildly, I can't condemn it. But don't you dare teach him the Bible. And you're going to tell me that this man is so smart, and oh, he's so intelligent, and oh, how dare you, Pastor Anderson, speak against Richard Dawkins when he has more intelligence in his little finger than you have in your whole body, and you're just an uneducated bumpkin because my apostle of my sci-fi religion is so much smarter than you. No, he thinks pedophilia is fine, and that teaching the Bible is child abuse. You can't even make this stuff up. I mean, the truth is stranger than fiction. This stuff's bizarre, isn't it?